Sawadika. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 4th Human Resource Development Workshop 2013 on Intellectual Management, Cultural Intelligence for Leadership. Use IC on your road to success, trading within ASEAN. My name is Pakamon Wongyai. I'm responsible for MC today, and first of all, I would like to invite Assistant Professor Wuttisak Labjalansap, President of Ram Khamheng University, Chairman of the Executive Committee for Ram Khamheng University Special Program, on the stage, please. And may I invite Associate Professor Dr. Kosit Intawong, Dean of the Faculty of Human Resource Development, Chairman of the Administrative Committees for the PhD HRD, MA HRD, and MS IT program, President of Thailand Association for Human Resource Development, to welcome and address the report to the President, please.
Mr. President, distinguished guests, Professor Dr. Schneider, on behalf of Dean of Faculty of Human Resource Development, Ram Khamheng University, I'd like to thank you, Assistant Professor Wuttisak Labjalansap, President of Ram Khamheng University, for present today opening ceremony of the 4th Human Resource Development Workshop 2013 on intercultural management, cultural intelligence for leadership across the border. Use cultural intelligence on your road to successful training within ASEAN. The purpose of this workshop is to keep all participants, PhD program, master, candidate program, graduate student, undergraduate student, to gain more learning experience in internationalization, human resource development, cultural intelligence, as well as to have opportunity to exchanging their learning experience with the distinguished keynote speaker today and the participant. Working today with the keynote speaker from University of Applied Science and Art Luzon University in the development to joint educational opportunity and research project. Professor, we would like to thank you, Professor Dr. Schneider, Director MBA Program, Luzon University, Lecturer for Intercultural Management. A total of participants today is more than 600, right now 630. Together with Doctor Program, PhD, Master, MBA Program from other department like MBA, Young MBA, Modern Management, MSIT, and the master graduate student from Ramphaiphani University, Ratchapat Ramphaiphani University, and MBA for Sunday program, and MBA for Industrial Service, and other faculty to participate in this today. The program will launch today until the afternoon for the workshop too. At this auspicious occasion, I'd like to thank you to take the opportunity to call upon Assistant Professor Wuttisak Labjalansap, the President of Ram Khamheng University, to welcome our distinguished participants and announce opening address. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kosit, Director of Human Resource Development Project in Rangpang University. And good morning, Mr. Vice President, Deans, especially our guest speaker, Dr. Klaus Schreier. I welcome you all to this occasion. This occasion is organized especially for those who are interested in intercultural management. I can tell that most of you are from graduate level. Some of you may not be from Rangpang, but Rangpang is an open admission university. We have consistently organized seminars and workshops on many topics, which is of interest for the people who are in various fields. This is one of the occasions that we have been organizing, and I thank the organizing committee, especially Professor Kosit, who is very active in bringing many guest speakers to our campus. Today, the issue is intercultural difference or intercultural management. This topic is becoming increasingly important since we are getting more connected. But it shouldn't be taken for granted that the more we get closer, the more understanding we have. Instead, it might go the other way around. The best place that you can see people of different cultures is at the airport. Fortunately, the day before yesterday, I was at the airport, and I can see the interactions between people of different cultures. At that moment, when I was at Don Mueang, I was queuing up for the line in order to be checked through the security gates. Many people stood not exactly in the straight line, but in the form of groups. Suddenly, one Chinese tourist came by, and he just yelled and shouted at maybe his peer groups. I don't know whether they are Korean or Chinese. I could not tell because they look so similar. And I was amazed by myself, and one foreigner I assumed that maybe from Europe, he was amazed also because he could not understand what to do, because it's not exactly in line, it's not exactly in the groups that we can check through the gates. But a few minutes later, one gentleman, maybe from the airline, just approached us and yelled at us, "You have to get in line, you have to get in line." The European guy just jumped in the line, cutting all those people who were there before. The response of this nature may be very different. We may make our disgusting face at those people who are not exactly in order, or we may just smile, or we may just ignore the incidents. This is just a small example, but cultural difference, the issue of cultural difference can lead to many aspects. It can lead to tension, it can lead to cooperation, or sometimes it can lead to admiration. As you are in various programs of your studies, you should not take this matter for granted, since we are getting into the years that we assume that we will be interregional. We will have interregional cooperation in the near future, the ASEAN or the AAC. So we should get to learn more and more and have more understanding of people from various cultures. And the best place to have your knowledge and to have your experience is to get it from the person who are keen in this field. Professor Klaus Schreier has been here for many times. I thank you for your kind consideration and for your kind cooperation with Rangpang University. And I hope you will come again next time. And today the program will last for the whole day, and I wish that you all should gain benefit from the experience and knowledge of Professor Schreier, and hope you will have more understanding of cultural differences. In our daily life, we may see many people from different cultures, and we may assume that we have good understanding of all of them, but sometimes it's very subtle. The issue may be very dynamic. So I thank again Professor Chario for giving us the opportunity to hear your lecture and to share your experience with us. And thank you. I may take this opportunity to declare this workshop open. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Assistant Professor Wuttisak Labjalan-Sap, for the opening speech. And next, may I invite Professor Dr. Kraus on the stage, please, for the certificate presented by our Dean. Next is Professor Dr. Kraus will be presented the certificate to Administrator of Ram Kam Heng University. May I announce the name. Associate Professor Wuttisak Labjalan-Sap. Associate Professor Dr. Kosit Intawong. Associate Professor Rampai Sirimanakun. Associate Professor Dr. Suradet Samranjit. Associate Professor Janjari Ketmaro. Next, may I invite faculty of Ram Kam Heng University on the stage for the certificate receiving อาจารย์ตวงทองลาภเจริญทรัพย์ค่ะ Associate Professor Dr. วุฒิพลสกลเกียรติ Associate Professor ประภาพรมูลแสดงดร.สุมนาจรณะสมบูรณ์ Associate Professor ดวงเดือนจันเจริญ ดร.ชมสุภักดิ์ครุฑกะดร.วันชัยปานจันทร์ Associate Professor ดร.คุณหญิงอารมณ์ฉนวนจิต Associate ดร.วรรณามุสิกดร.โกศลอินทวงศ์
I
Next will be group photo of administrator and also faculty of Ram Khamng Heng University with the President and Dr. Kraus. Thank you very much. So next we would like to welcome Professor Dr. Kraus Chaya. We are talking about his CV about Dr. Kraus. Dr. Kraus Chaya earned his doctorate in economics in year 2001 from the European Business School, International University. In 1997, he graduated with a master's degree in economics from University of Constance, and 1999 with a master's degree in business administration from University of Hagen. After his doctoral study, he spent 3 years as a senior business consultant for CSC Switzerland and another 3 years as a partner and management consultant for Prime IT Consulting. Today, Dr. Kraus is a lecturer for strategy and intellectual management at the Institute of Management IBR, Lucerne University of Applied Science and Arts. As an academic director, Dr. Kraus is responsible for further education programs like Master of Advanced Study in Business Administration, MBA Lucerne, and International Weeks Lucerne. He has lectured at various institutions in Switzerland, Germany, Canada, and Southeast Asia. Important steps in his professional experiences include Bosch GmbH, Winterthur Life and Pension, and Swiss Life. He is also owner of the consulting company dealing with all kinds of intellectual issues. So, may I invite Dr. Kraus for the lecture session, please.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the lecture here at Ram Khamng Heng University. First of all, I want to say thank you to Professor Wutisat, President from Ram Khamng Heng University, and the Dean, Professor Dr. Kosit, for the warm welcome, and thank you for your invitation, make it possible for me to come here today. And since last year, Lucerne University of Applied Sciences and Ram Khamng Heng University have a partnership, and I'm really happy I can contribute to this partnership and give you a lecture today about intercultural management and cultural intelligence. To be honest, it always makes me a little bit nervous to be in such a huge room to see so many students here, but it is really a pleasure, and your warm welcome make it possible for me to relax, and I hope I can give you an interesting lecture for the next few hours here. Okay. Okay, that was the wrong button. Maybe that. Okay, that is the right button. Perfect. First of all, I would like to give you a short overview what I would like to tell you today. So, first of all, I was asked to give some insights about ASEAN and in comparison to the European Union, and what are the attitudes and expectations from people. You may start, or you will start with ASEAN end of next year 2015, or end of the next year of 2015. Then I would like to give you a kind of framework about intercultural management and leadership management. Then what is the difference between leadership and management, some leadership theories, and then the core part of my lecture would be leadership across cultural borders. Last but not least, I think what the President already said, some insights about how to manage cultural differences. So you are mostly MBA students, PhD students, and I'm quite sure in a globalized world nowadays you are facing, it should be interesting, or should be, you may be confronted sooner or later with leading people across cultural borders, or to deal with people from other countries. So how to manage cultural differences, and for that at the end I would like to give you a brief overview for the conception of cultural intelligence. Okay. So let's start with some insights about ASEAN, the attitudes and expectations. I think you know much better than me about this map, the 10 countries, members of ASEAN, and the figures and numbers that there are 10 members already. It is 4.5 million square kilometers landmass. You have round about 620 million customers. That was from 2012, and 2.3 billion GDP that is expected to become 4.7 trillion in 2020. So that is a huge growth that is expected for the next few years. And this goes back to the year 1967, when the Bangkok Declaration was signing. ASEAN start in the at the 8th of August. So at the beginning there have been 5 members, the 5 original members, and nowadays there are 10. So what is the context? I think the context is quite similar ASEAN context to the European Union. So it goes back more or less same as the European Union back to the 1960s. So in this area, same as in Europe, there have been some kind of conflicts between the countries. For example, Indonesia, Malaysia, also Thailand with the Philippines, and so on. Same as in Europe, the start of the European Union goes back to the conflict during the Second World War between France and Germany. Germany lost the Second World War in 1945, and the Allied wanted to take control over those parts of the German industry could provide the country with energy on the one hand, and with steel production on the other hand. That was the beginning, called Montanunion, Union of Steel and Energy, after the Second World War. So the idea was there should be nothing happened, things again like the Second World War starting there in Europe. So same idea, to reduce conflicts when you start with the idea of ASEAN. Well, also the idea of a trading bloc, or such a kind of community like the European Union or ASEAN, is to fight against poverty. After the Second World War, Europe was confronted with destroyed cities, with million deaths, with unemployed people. So there had been some solutions to overcome the poverty. And from that perspective, the European Union was a quite successful model and a recovery of Europe after 1945. Same as here in Southeast Asia, also Europe was confronted with the communism. So the Russians have been close to the eastern part of Europe. For example, Germany was divided in a western part, controlled by the Western allies like the Americans, British and the French, and the eastern part of Germany controlled by the Russians after the Second World War. During that time, the Cold War started, and for example, Berlin was always the threat, or there was a threat. The communism took over the city of Berlin. And in the 60s, there have been round about half a year where the Americans had to supply the eastern or the western part of Berlin by a bridge, by an air bridge to supply or to support the city not to fall to the communist part of the eastern part of Germany. So same here in Southeast Asia, you were confronted with the Cold War, you were confronted with communism, and the context of ASEAN was also to defeat the threat of communism. So a protection zone for the Western, the Western and capitalism system. So the Bangkok Declaration, and that makes sense, same as the EU Declaration in that time, was about cooperation in an economical perspective, from a social perspective, cultural perspective, technical perspective, and last but not least, an educational perspective. So cooperation is one main target. Second is, well, as mentioned before, there have been many conflicts during that time in the 60s and even later in the 70s with the war in Cambodia, the civil war in Cambodia and the war in Vietnam. Regional peace and stability was one main target of this later trading bloc ASEAN. So peace, freedom and prosperity are the main targets of trading blocs like ASEAN and the European Union. So what are the next major steps? So ASEAN community wanted to start or will start the single market project. So by the end of 2015, I think the states, 10 members agreed to start a single market in 2015, and now already they agreed each other that they will start in the 31st of December 2015. It means a free flow of goods, services, investments, capital and skilled labor. Of course, on the one hand, there are huge chances of these markets for economic growth. On the one hand, on the other side, of course, there are threats and fears from the people, from the customers, moving people or free move of people and work labor within these 10 members. Same as the European Union, where they have the free flow of goods, service, investment, capital and labor. But I think at the end you will see there are barriers inside the EU by language differences, same as you have the language differences here in Southeast Asia. So that is a big difference between the United States of America, starting when they have been kind of trading bloc really at the beginning. They have one common language. That makes the free flow of people much easier, as if you have the language barrier.